A couple of minutes off those 10,000 hours.
Sure, just give me a couple of minutes.
Sammy can't remember anything for more than a couple of minutes.
I only got a couple of minutes.
Now, all he does is hold him up for a couple of minutes till he can call us, get a bet down on the winner.
All right, just give us a couple of minutes and we're good, okay?
A couple of minutes. A couple of minutes.
ちょっと待ってて、という意味ですね。文の初めの wait for が省略された形です。文字通り受け取ると、2分待ってて、ですが、2分を過ぎても文句を言われることはまずありません。一度覚えれば、今日からでも使えるシンプルな表現なので、ぜひ身につけてください。さらっと言えるように100回くらい練習しましょう。それではネイティブがどういう風に発音するか聞いてみましょう。
Like a couple of minutes off those 10,000 hours.
Sure, just give me a couple of minutes.
Try and keep your chin
Sammy can't remember anything for more than a couple of minutes.
I only got a couple of minutes.
Now, all he does is hold him up for a couple of minutes till he can call us, get a bet down on the winner.
All right, just give us a couple of minutes and we're good, okay?
Give me a couple of minutes.
Give it a couple of minutes. A couple of minutes. We'll be outside.
If only I had wasted a couple of minutes and gone to watch Marla Singer die, none of this would have happened.
I got a meeting with the Bobs in a couple of minutes.
For, a couple of minutes of some 19-year-old hard body in a schoolgirl outfit.
For a couple of minutes?
I haven't even got a couple of minutes to have my appendix out.
He'd watch TV, but anything longer than a couple of minutes was too confusing.
We'll be there in a couple of minutes.
Doyle, we're gonna be in the station in a couple of minutes.
Just a couple of minutes?
Just a couple of minutes, Mom!
They left only a couple of minutes ago.
Could you give us a couple of minutes?
Why don't you take a couple of minutes?
Well, listen, I might be back in a couple of minutes.
Couldn't you give us just a couple of minutes?
Yeah, I'll just be a couple of minutes.
Oh, I'd be pissed, but in a couple of minutes, it's not gonna really matter anyway.
Yeah, just give me a couple of minutes.
All right, can't we talk quietly for a couple of minutes?
I just need a couple of minutes by myself.
I'd like to have a couple of minutes with the two of you, if I may.
Took a couple of minutes just to...
Very upset father inside, so we'll give him a couple of minutes to cool off.
You'll be all right in a couple of minutes.
I wonder if you might excuse us for just a couple of minutes, Anime?
Well, can you hang around a couple of minutes?
He can only remember things for a couple of minutes.
Maybe we should spend a couple of minutes together, to get acquainted before we get to it.
I had finished my paperwork and so just had a couple minutes.
Well, I've got a couple of minutes to spare. If you want me to send you to the hospital. Again.
Would you greet him with a great big Jesus name for just a couple of minutes? Jesus!
It'll only take a couple of minutes.
I was just talking to him just a couple of minutes ago, and he was totally ready to kill any of us.
We got a couple of minutes here, Ma.
This whole place is gonna blow in a couple of minutes!
Just a couple of minutes.
Any kick for a fastball, you know that? So I need just a couple of minutes of your lives and we're gone. Just a couple of minutes.
I guess we could make out for a couple of minutes.
Well, you just relax for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, just give me a couple of minutes, yeah?
That's just a couple of minutes up the road.
Lombard will be joining you in a couple of minutes.
So she'd stop to answer it and talk for a couple of minutes.
Tell you what, I could give you a hand for a couple of minutes if you want.
And they're gonna laugh at him for a couple of minutes, and I gotta go out there, I gotta get laughs too.
They're scheduling me for release in a couple of minutes. You got a couple of minutes here.
Still a couple of minutes before the broadcast home.
Okay, looks like we have a couple of minutes while Riley takes a breather.
Just give me a couple of minutes.
Go in there for a couple of minutes if I were you.
Give me a couple of minutes.
The brain survives a couple of minutes after death.
Don't worry, it'll end in a couple of minutes.
As it was, I got there a couple of minutes before the locals.
It's only a couple of minutes.
It'll be a couple of minutes.
We're wondering if you have a couple of minutes, maybe head over to the Owl for a soda.
In a couple of minutes, we're gonna find my daughter.
You got a couple of minutes?
We need a couple of minutes to debrief those two.
It would only take a couple of minutes.
Just sit down here and relax a couple of minutes.
Sheriff Hopkins just put 200 more relatives on the payroll to protect the city against the Red Army, which is leaving Moscow in a couple of minutes.
Check.
We might be able to hold them back for a couple of minutes.
Do you mind stopping off on the way for a couple of minutes?
He blanks for more than a couple of minutes and he'll get brain damage.
We got a couple of minutes.
All right, I'll meet you there in a couple of minutes.
Fine, a couple of minutes.
Please, can you just give us a couple of minutes?
I've got to pop out for a couple of minutes.
Because we could just come in at the end of a couple of rooms.
Oh, yes, sir, a couple of minutes ago.
Andy, he's only got a couple of minutes.
The track's been cleared for a couple of minutes now.
I'll be a couple of minutes.
A couple of minutes?
Just give me a couple of minutes here.
Here I go and give up my job, jeopardize my whole career for her sake, and she won't even wait a couple of minutes.
We should be fueled up in a couple of minutes.
I'll only be a couple of minutes, I swear.
It took a couple of minutes, but we found him down here hiding under the desk.
Jesus. So I watched for a couple of minutes.
Well, we only met a couple of minutes ago.
You'll be back in a couple of minutes. Bought us a couple of minutes, so get that radio working, okay?
We'll be there in a couple of minutes.
Look, I'll be up here for a couple of minutes.
A couple of minutes till it's burned.
The one that just went by here a couple of minutes ago.
We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yes, give me a couple of minutes to dress.
Fine, then give us a couple of minutes.
I know this is kind of tough for you, but could you try making sense for just a couple of minutes, please?
No, could you give me a couple of minutes, please?
Sure.
Folks, if you'll just bear patiently with me for a couple of minutes, I'd like to tell you what this state needs.
Just a couple of minutes.
It'll only take you a couple of minutes. That's good.
Give me a couple of minutes and you come running out and yell like you just found her.
Okay. All I'm asking you guys for is a couple of minutes of sanity in there, all right?
I'll be out in a couple of minutes.
いかがでしたか？気に入ったフレーズを見つけたら何度も声に出して練習し、自分で使えるフレーズを増やしていきましょう。